Barefoot Protocol Part 2. Practical strategies for foot optimization. Many people end up quitting barefoot shoes because they neglected to take the time to condition the feet. They watch a video extolling the benefits of barefoot shoes. They're eager to just get straight into it with little thought or preparation. In this video, I'm going to cover the exact strategies that I use to take barefoot walking to an advanced level and to be able to hike over rough terrain in barefoot shoes, in fact, any terrain in barefoot shoes. Now, where do we start with this? It's a long journey, to be honest. This is not something that you can just do really quickly. You've got to establish the new motor programming necessary to altering the way that you move, reality. This is going to take anything from 6 months to a year. Not what you want to hear, but if you want to get the benefits and you want to get the best out of this, reap all the benefits of barefoot walking without picking up any injuries or problems along the way, then this is necessary. The first thing everyone should do is stop wearing any footwear at all when you're at home. I would advise going completely barefoot. If you prefer, you can wear socks, but if it's possible and you live in a warmer climate, then go completely bare. When moving around your home, start to get into the habit of being mindful of reducing the force that you strike the floor with each step. The more often you have the opportunity to actually walk barefoot, the more conditioned your feet will become. You've got to actually practice this to get any benefits from it. Now then, in the beginning, you should also opt for the lightest footwear that you can possibly get away with for everyday wear. Avoid shoes with rounded and restricted toe boxes if you can. Avoid shoes with an elevated heel. Go for flat type shoes. Now for ladies, high-heeled shoes, they look great, elegant, sexy, but they place your calves into a really shortened position with the heel of the foot all the way up here, toes all the way down there. Your calves are under tension all the time and it can cause stiff calves. Now I've got some examples of shoes here. These loafers, they have a flat sole. Loafer, deck shoe type shoes. These sandals, again, they have a flat sole with not much of an elevated heel. Even ones like this, you get the picture. Flat shoes. Flat is best in these circumstances. Something that can be worn loosely, preferably. Even Converse or Vans are particularly good shoes for this purpose. Just avoid whatever shoes that you do try having the laces pulled in too tightly and placing the foot into a restricted position. Loose fit encourages the muscles of the feet to start working during walking, even in light fitting shoes. Now, above all, be patient. Why? Because at this stage, you're not ready for barefoot shoes. If you want to, you can start introducing them in the beginning, in bits and pieces for short durations. If you're walking, hiking or running, keep wearing the shoes that you have been for now, but better still, start getting accustomed to using flat shoes. Now, if you're going out for a social engagement, then opt for light, comfortable shoes like the examples that I've shown you. At this stage, conditioning of the feet is your number one priority. Skip this stage or rush this stage and you will probably experience an injury or a strain of some kind. Now, an exercise that I used, which was extremely effective when I began my regime, was walking barefoot on a sandy beach. I was very fortunate in this respect because I worked tourist season last summer on a Mediterranean beach. I spent the entire summer walking barefoot on the sand. Tourist season is 4 months. Now, I still wore regular shoes both to and from work. I was just barefoot the entire day whilst at work. If you haven't got a sandy beach close by, then another equally effective way is to go to your local park and walk barefoot on grass. Every town and city has a green space available. This has the added advantage in the grass is usually well cultivated and manicured, providing a soft surface to safely walk around. You can ground yourself and help get the foot muscles activated, doing this as often as you can. It's the frequency that helps you to form the new motor programming needed for optimum foot performance. Its frequency in short sessions is much more effective than just one big long session. I would recommend that you stick with this stage for around 3 to 6 months, just to be on the safe side. Condition your feet, practice regularly. Regular practice will help you to build up strength in the foot muscles. I will show you some effective foot conditioning exercises that you can also adopt at this stage to help you quicken the process. As soon as I've got a camera person available, I will shoot all those videos for you and upload them here. Now, once you have done this initial foot conditioning routine, you're going to find that your foot performance is going to be beginning to improve. You'll notice the improvements. At this stage, you can now introduce using barefoot shoes, but use them gradually. Start with just wearing them outside for short periods of time. Even start wearing them indoors to get used to them if you prefer. Start with relatively short distances, for let's say 1 kilometre, and gradually build up the distance and the time from there. Gauge how you feel as your own personal guide as you go through this transition. Let your level of comfort guide you. If you feel any discomfort in terms of pain and ache at any time, then wrap it up for the day. Don't persist. Wrap it up for the day, and tomorrow is available. Don't kill yourself here. Remember that any muscle soreness, aches in the heels, in the forefoot, the toes, the plantar fascia, which is highly likely in the beginning and it's completely normal, is the muscles and the tendons in your feet reacting to the new workout that they're receiving, especially in the case of atrophied and weakened muscles. You're going to start feeling it when you activate them. Allow adequate recovery when this happens. Shorter sessions to begin with is the way to go, because this means that you're not going to take as long to recover and you're going to be able to do your sessions more frequently. Allow yourself to build up tolerance to this routine. This is absolutely essential to avoid injuries. Now, when you feel that your foot strength is improving, try wearing ankle weights around the home while walking barefoot. Got one handy here. They go round the ankle. Come in various weights, very useful. This helps you to build up load tolerance in your ankles and your feet, especially in the tendons. Always be mindful of utilising proprioceptive control in your foot strikes to allow for the increased weight being supported. When you are ready to progress further, you should be aiming to increase the distances that you are walking, increase the time that you are wearing barefoot shoes. Preferably, when the time comes that you find foot strength improving, then you should try progressing to wearing barefoot shoes as often as is practically possible for you. There are many different styles suitable for everyday wear, and even warmer versions for colder climate situations. These ones here, they are fur lined, exactly the same as this other regular barefoot shoe in terms of the sole, wide toe box, all the benefits of the regular barefoot shoe, but this can even be worn outside and will keep your feet dry and warm, even in walking in the snow. Use those in the snow. An optional extra, if you like optional extras and upping your game kind of thing, you can add a weighted vest or a backpack, rucking type thing. I would go with the weighted vest personally, because it allows the weight to be more evenly distributed when compared to wearing a backpack. I used to walk outside, I still walk outside, carrying a kettlebell, just one kettlebell, switching sides with the kettlebell gives the added bonus of getting some core stability training in at the same time. Two birds with one stone. Now, in all of these situations, the additional weight helps to vastly improve load tolerance to the foot and ankle muscles. This is all progress. In fact, this also helps you to strengthen and increase load tolerance to the entire kinetic chain. When you build something, you build strong foundations. It is going to be felt further up the chain. Now, once I was comfortable with walking 10 kilometres in barefoot shoes, I took this a step further in two principal ways. I started walking barefoot without any shoes outside on flat, even pavement surfaces, and running barefoot on the firmer sand at the edge of the water at the beach. The arches in your feet should now be fully activated and providing you with more stability and support before you try this. Now, how long this takes is determined by how atrophied the muscles in your feet are. Now, the benefits of doing this cannot be overlooked because these further steps will take your feet to a whole new level of performance beyond what is considered normal today. Running barefoot on sand is pretty straightforward. It's relatively safe to do if you have conditioned your feet as I've advised. Start with maybe 1 to 3 kilometres and progress from there. Now, if you are already comfortably running 5Ks, say over concrete or on trails, then you should be okay to run equivalent distances barefoot over sand. Just be mindful to scan the route ahead, looking for any stones, bits of wood, flotsam, and especially partially submerged rocks. I got caught out with that one once. Took a week or two to recover from that. While running, I hit my plantar fascia on a partially submerged rock. Now, luckily, my reflexes are quick and I minimised the impact. I felt the rock immediately and was able to reduce the impact. It's important to note that the firmer sand near the waterline is better than the softer, looser sand to begin with. But looser sand does increase the workout because it provides instability. It requires more effort and will work really well if your fitness level is adequate and allows for this. Again, if you do not have a sandy beach in convenient vicinity to your home, then a park with grass is equally as effective. With the barefoot walking on concrete now, I started by selecting pavements that are relatively smooth. In my region, we have big stone slabs on the pavement, and these were ideal for this purpose. I avoided rougher surfaces and I went into it gradually, starting out with just a couple of kilometres at a time and increasing the distance by a few hundred metres, half a kilometre with each session. Each session I was trying to extend the distance using a smartwatch to gauge how far I've travelled. Doing this will help you to form a protective layer of thicker skin on the soles of your feet. It develops calluses on the points of contact of your feet with the ground, to the heel, the outstep on the outside of the foot, the forefoot area, and the toes. This is you must have seen manual workers with calluses on their hands that develop over time as their hands adapt to continued use. This is the same. This is well worth the effort because it not only provides protection to the soles of the feet, but will vastly improve sensory feedback and proprioceptive control with your everyday movement patterns. Now, this summer, just gone, in temperatures in the high 30s, early 40s, I was able to walk on heated tarmac and my feet had adequate protection, even on days when the tarmac was beginning to get a bit soft and melted. If you get to this stage, you will be completely adapted to wearing barefoot shoes all the time, and in most situations, just exercise caution and control, be mindful at all times and stay safe. Now, when you have reached the stage where you are comfortable with walking barefoot over concrete, running barefoot over sand, you've built up a habit of doing this over time, you could then try upping your game and running barefoot over concrete, the road, tracks or similar surfaces. At this stage, I also upgraded to walking over gravel on flat ground to begin with, without any shoes. Now take care to get into this gradually, because as you up your game, you are increasing the risk of repetitive impact strains or even injuries. Stay safe at all times above all else. Keep repeating myself, but go into this gradually. Neglecting to do this is the principal reason that many people quit wearing barefoot shoes, because they started to develop pain or discomfort in the feet. Begin with smaller distances again. Now, while road running without shoes, exercise control in how you strike the road with your foot on each stride. Start out at a light jog, slower pace, progress from there. With an increased pace, when you do increase the pace, you do not want to have increased striking force with the road surface as you start to progress to taking longer strides. You want to be in a light rhythm and striking the floor with minimal impact, with motor control. Going slowly helps you to develop this habit as an autonomous reaction. Don't ever attempt to go fast until you have got this down to a T first. The foot striking. When you can cover a few kilometres at least with a light jogging pace, light foot strikes, no problems, feels great. Optimise your foot strikes before increasing your speed. Now, when foot striking force is improved, you will find that you will fatigue much less during any walking or running activities. You will be less prone to fatigue because lighter striking force with the ground, combined with a smoother running or walking rhythm, everything becomes smoother and the rhythm improves. This means that it takes much less effort to move. This in turn means that you use much less energy to cover the equivalent distances when compared to pounding the road surface wearing running shoes as you are accustomed to doing. If you decide to progress to walking on gravel, or progressing even further and taking your barefoot walking over even rougher terrain, each time you upgrade or push yourself to go further, try it out in your barefoot shoes before trying it without any shoes, because you are now entering advanced level barefoot walking at this stage. Every time the surface gets more challenging, test how it feels first in barefoot shoes. Here you will find that any stones or sharp edges will dig into the soles of your feet. I posted a short to introduce this series. You can see the terrain that I'm walking. This is an example of that. When you're walking over terrain like this, your feet feel every single undulation, dip and trough and ridge in the terrain below your feet. Sharp edges will dig into the soles of your feet. There are many nerve endings in the soles of the feet, and this will feel a little uncomfortable at first. The bigger the rocks, stones, the more discomfort level becomes. You've been warned. Start with a tiny gravel or grit type surface, hard baked earth even, and progress from there. Try running over grit, gravel or trails in your barefoot shoes too, as this will also help you to get acclimatized to this. More practice, more acclimatization, improved foot performance. If you get to this stage, you will notice improved motor control and proprioceptive feedback from your feet. Be careful at all times to scan the route ahead and to plan each and every footfall. Look before you step. When you get used to doing this does not slow you down. You still have a good pace. You're stepping lightly and you will be able to glide over these rougher surfaces. I can currently walk barefoot over solid rock as well. You will also be better equipped to go hiking over rougher terrain in barefoot shoes. Even in the mountains, I'm able to go in the mountains in barefoot shoes. Our ancestors walked barefoot all the time over any and every surface. It can be done. How far you wish to take this is up to you. The more extreme you go, remember, the greater the risks. Always bear this in mind. I'm now able to glide over solid rock in barefoot with no shoes, go hiking in the hills and mountains near my home wearing barefoot shoes. Now I wear barefoot shoes all the time outside unless I'm walking with no shoes on intentionally. I did recently when I was in the mountains last time. I tried a kilometre over loose rock, quite big pieces of rock with no shoes on. I could do it, without any pain and discomfort, but my pace was extremely slow and I ended up just getting pissed off with it, putting my barefoot shoes back on. Otherwise it just would have taken forever to go any distance. But I can now go over practically any surface in barefoot shoes. I regularly go hiking over rough terrain, always in barefoot shoes. I don't wear hiking boots anymore. The benefits of going barefoot cannot be underestimated. Our feet are our base of support and are the foundation of what good posture and good movement is built on. On no account can you neglect this. Now, I will upload videos soon of some foot conditioning exercises that you can do alongside all of this to help with transitioning to barefoot walking. Good thing about these is some of them can be done while you're sat indoors watching the television. Subscribe for more. Stay tuned.